There is a feeling that some people carry their entire lives. It has no name. It has no diagnosis. It is simply the quiet awareness that you are different. Not different in a way that others celebrate. Not different in a way that earns admiration. Just different in a way that separates you from the room you are standing in. You learn to smile at the right times. You learn to laugh when others laughed. You learn the rhythm of conversation, but something always felt performed. Something always felt borrowed. This video is not about disorders. This video is not about labels. This video is about perception. It is about the inner world of people who always felt slightly out of place. And it is about the exhaustion that comes from a lifetime of translating yourself for others. Most people do not remember when they first felt normal, because they never had to think about it. But you remember when you first felt different. It might have been in a classroom. Everyone understood something that confused you, or everyone was confused by something that seemed obvious to you. It might have been at a birthday party. The other children moved easily through games and laughter. You stood near the edge, watching, trying to learn the invisible rules. It might have been at a family gathering. Adults spoke in patterns you could not predict. You said something honest. The room went quiet. You learned early that your natural responses were somehow wrong. Not morally wrong, just socially wrong. So you started watching more carefully. You started building a map of human behavior. Other children did not need a map. They had instincts. You had observations. There is a specific kind of loneliness that comes from watching life instead of living it. You are in the room. You are part of the group. But some part of you is always standing outside, taking notes, measuring reactions, adjusting your behavior in real time. This is not shyness. Shy people want to participate but feel afraid. You participate, but participation feels like a task. It feels like work. You learn to mimic enthusiasm. You learn to perform relaxation. You learn to fake the ease that others seem to feel naturally. And no one noticed. That was the strangest part. The mask worked. People accepted the version of you that you built, but the version underneath stayed hidden, stayed silent, stayed alone. Most people move through social situations without thinking. They react, they speak, they feel. But you think before you react. You calculate before you speak. You analyze before you feel. This is not coldness. This is hyper-awareness. You notice the slight change in someone's tone. You notice when a smile does not reach the eyes. You notice when the energy of a room shifts. You notice things that others seem to miss entirely. And this noticing is exhausting, because you cannot turn it off. Every conversation carries layers of information. Every silence holds meaning. Every interaction becomes something to decode. People call this sensitivity, but it does not feel soft. It feels heavy. It feels like carrying a second mind, one that never stops watching, one that never rests. By adulthood, many people who never felt normal have become excellent performers. They know which version of themselves works best at work. They know which version works best with friends. They know which version works best with family. Each version is slightly different. Each version is carefully adjusted. None of them feel completely true. This is sometimes called masking. It is the act of hiding your natural responses behind learned behaviors. It is not lying. It is surviving. Because you learned long ago that your real reactions confused people. Your real thoughts made people uncomfortable. Your real way of being was somehow too much, or not enough. So you built a filter, and you have been speaking through that filter ever since. The problem is that filters require energy, and over time, that energy runs out. You cancel plans at the last minute. You need hours of silence to recover from simple interactions. You feel exhausted in ways that others do not understand, because they do not see the labor. They only see the result. Friendship is complicated when you feel like an outsider. You want connection, but connection requires vulnerability. And vulnerability means showing the version of yourself that you have been hiding. That feels dangerous, because you have seen how people react to the real you. So you keep relationships at a certain depth, close enough to feel present, far enough to stay safe. Some people who never felt normal have one or two close friends, people who somehow saw through the mask, people who accepted what they found underneath. These relationships feel different. They feel like rest. But they are rare, and they take years to build. Romantic relationships carry their own challenges. Intimacy requires you to be seen, truly seen, and that is the one thing you have spent your life avoiding. You might choose partners who do not ask too many questions, or you might push away anyone who gets too close, or you might open up slowly, piece by piece, waiting to see if they will stay. People who feel different often develop a particular kind of intelligence. Not academic intelligence, not social intelligence, something harder to measure. It is the intelligence of pattern recognition. You notice how systems work. You see the structure underneath conversations. You understand motivations before people speak them aloud. This comes from years of watching, years of not taking anything for granted, years of treating human behavior as a puzzle to solve. Some people use this intelligence in their work. They become analysts, writers, therapists, researchers. They turn their outsider perspective into a skill, but the intelligence does not erase the loneliness. It just gives it a purpose. Somewhere inside, most people who never felt normal carry a secret hope. The hope that one day they will finally feel like they belong. The hope that the performance will become natural. The hope that the exhaustion will fade. But years pass, and the feeling remains. You start to wonder if you are broken. You start to wonder if everyone else knows something you missed. You start to wonder if there is a version of normal that you will never access, and this wondering is painful. Not because you want to be like everyone else, but because you want to stop feeling like you are standing on the outside of your own life. Here is something that takes a long time to understand. The feeling of being different is not a flaw. It is a form of perception. You see things that others do not see. You feel things that others do not feel. You process the world through a different filter. This is not better. This is not worse. It is simply different. The exhaustion you feel is real, but it does not come from being broken. It comes from translating. You have been translating your inner world into a language that others can understand every single day for years. That is not a sign of weakness. That is a sign of effort. The people who never felt normal are not failed versions of normal people. They are people who experience life differently, and they have been working harder than anyone realizes just to be in the room. There is no cure for feeling different. There is no moment when everything clicks into place. There is no secret handshake that finally lets you into the club. But there is something else. There is the slow acceptance that you were never meant to fit. Not because you are broken, but because fitting was never your design. Some people move through the world easily. Some people move through the world carefully. Both are valid ways of being human. The difference is not a problem to solve. It is a reality to live with. And living with it becomes easier when you stop apologizing for it. If you have spent your life feeling like an outsider, this is not a failure. It is simply how you are built. The mask you wear is not a lie. It is a tool you created to survive. The exhaustion you feel is not weakness. It is the cost of constant translation. And the loneliness you carry is not proof that something is wrong with you. It is proof that you have been paying attention to things that others ignore. You do not need to become normal. You never were. And maybe that was never the point. Maybe the point was something quieter. Something harder to name. Something that only makes sense when you stop trying to explain it. You are not broken. You are just different. And different is not a problem. It is simply what you are. If you liked our video, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment.